io son sicuro che per ogni goccia che cadrà un nuovo fiore nascerà.
Okay, hi guys and welcome to the show. Today I'm finally getting to review my little combat sub, which is this one here. Now of course, let me do a wristwatch check. I've got my Tudor day date on. I've put it on this red, really bright red strap. I'm having fun with it. I had this on my birthday. I wanted something with a little something extra. Anyway, wristwatch check done. Let's get on with the video. So, the combat sub, which is this beautiful piece here. In a moment we'll have a look at the full review, but I just wanted to address a few points. First of all, guys, if you're interested in the Glycine Combat Sub, Salesman's, who lent me the first one, I actually bought this one. I had to put a deposit. I put a deposit down, I think it was before Christmas while I was still in the UK, and then I think it was a $100 deposit because they were sold out when I got back to the US in the just after Christmas. So then I paid the rest and came very fast. You know, Salesman's are excellent like that. I'm mentioning this because I wanted to explain to you guys, if there is a Glycine that you are interested in but they don't have it on the website, contact them, mention the show. You'll also get an additional, let me get this right, 30% off any Glycine by mentioning me, TGV or the Urban Gentry channel. So I mean, what's better than that? I'm actually saving you money by watching this. And you know, please support Salesman's. They are the North American official, the only official authorized dealer and watch repairer for Glycine. So you're in safe hands. They're a family business. They've been around for yonks, very well respected in the watch industry. Just the kind of thing that I want to support. At the end of the day, you guys are trusting me with my opinion, and if I recommend somebody, they've got to be good. They're very professional, they're reliable, they can get any Glycine you want. You just, you know, if they're out of stock, just put a little deposit down like I did, and when they arrive, you pay it off and they send you the watch. Very, very easy, quick, fast. And also guys, if you are an active military personnel, you will get an additional discount on top of the discount you already get by being a viewer of the show. So Glycine, because there is quite a big, the combat sub obviously, there's a big military following of this watch. Anyway guys, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Now you saw the unboxing of this. I've had this quite a while. It's a very strange watch because, you know, I wasn't like overly, you know, I wasn't like blown away by the watch when it first arrived. It's really grown on me. I've been trying to push the smaller sizes. That's more to do with trends coming back, but when I think for a watch like this, you know, it's a dive watch, and because it's just so thin like a quartz watch, you know, it's an exception. It's difficult. I haven't made my mind up if I'm going to keep it, sell it. I'm going to have fun with it. I'm really enjoying it for the moment, so I think I'll just keep it for the moment. And also I've got the state of the collection video coming up very, very soon. Anyway guys, let's switch perspectives now and have a closer look. Now the reference number is 3836.399C6-TB89. Quite a long reference number, but most of you probably heard this referred to as the Golden Eye. And this is from Glycine's combat sub range, more specifically the combat sub specials, kind of offshoot of the regular combat subs, just zhuzhed up a bit with really cool colors and features. So a little bit of history behind Glycine, founded in 1914, but they really kind of came into their own during the 50s, especially with the iconic Airman. And the Airman was famously worn during the Vietnam War by United States Air Force pilots. It really became a kind of icon, and any watch connoisseur worth their salt will have heard of the Airman, and you know, it's probably after one. They are absolutely stunning. But I think actually Glycine's real strength is really in the combat range. They have fantastically, tastefully, well-designed, very utilitarian, very clean, functional pieces that are of an amazing standard for not that much money. And I think Glycine are hugely overlooked, highly underrated brand, with individual designs that stand out on their own. And I'm really excited about Glycine. I've always had an eye for the Airman, but since looking further into their watches, you really understand that actually it's a solid brand that has some very unique designs. Let's talk about the Combat Sub here. Now, this is my second Combat Sub. I was loaned the previous version, which is just a regular Combat Sub. I fell in love with the watch. I mean, the first thing you'll notice is just how thin they are. They really are thin, like a quartz watch. And even though it is 42mm, these curved lugs just make it wear so comfortably, even for a small, tiny little wrist like mine. I just had to get one of my own for the collection, and I decided to get something a little bit different, something a little bit more individual, and this is probably one of the more outlandish of the Combat Subs. They are quite conservative. Anyway, let's get the dimensions out the way. Diameter of 42mm, a thickness of just over 10 and a half there. Lug to lug we're looking at 50. Lug width we're looking at just 22. So quite a large size, but actually for a diving watch it's pretty standard. Now, as I mentioned, we'll just go over the watch's features. We've got this lovely bezel, has a really nice action to it, very solid feeling. There's a tiny little play, but you know, nothing to be concerned about. It is very accurate. It's unidirectional, 60 click. I like the little notch at the top just to, and it lines up perfectly as you'd expect. We've got a stainless steel case, of course, in a PVD, and we have brushed and polished. The finish is beautifully done. Drilled lug holes, which makes changing the strap an absolute pleasure. I mean, every little bit of this watch has been so well designed. We have got the screw down crown with the beautiful Glycine crown logo. It's a nice big size, but doesn't protrude too much. It just makes operating it really easy. And we got this fantastic bronze kind of brown insert bezel with gold lettering. Now you'll notice I've put it on this mesh bracelet. I actually got this from Holben's. This is a PVD mesh. They also have these in stainless steel and gold tone, I believe. I'll show you the strap it came with. Very nice, very good quality. We've got leather underneath and then canvas on the top. The lovely little signed buckle there with PVD as well, but it was just a little bit too big, to be honest. I wanted something metal, and I just love this. This is from Holben's. I think it's a Hadley Roma. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm going to do a full video all about bracelets and straps very soon, so stay tuned for that. It was quite expensive, but really nice, because as you see it, where it connects to the watch, it's a little bit smaller. It actually wears more like a 20mm, so really cool. Clips into there, and then the fold over as well. And this actual clasp, you just flip that up and you can slide it and adjust it to however much you want, which is really nifty. Get a really cool, comfortable fit. On the back we have a screw down case back with a beautiful done logo, this kind of Navy SEAL style, military-esque, very subtle but beautifully done. Just gives the whole military vibe a really nice touch. I absolutely love it. Looking at the dial, let's just have a closer look at the dial. We have inner 24-hour markings, all done in this kind of gold tone, matching the black and gold theme of the watch. Lovely matted dial, the tiny little 3 o'clock date window in negative, hardly noticeable, but really nicely placed. We've got quite small lume markings, applied lume markings. The lume is super luminova, and it is a little small, but actually aesthetically it kind of works, but functionally it's a little bit of disappointment. Actually, while we're on the lume, let's just switch to a quick lume shot. So as you can see, really quite good lume considering its small size. We've got the lume pip at the top, and there is a bit of light leaking in here. It's still responsive. My only slight criticism, obviously apart from the small applied markers, the minute and hour hand are kind of the same. The only real differentiating feature is the length, but at a quick glance you can't really tell them apart. Anyway, decent lume, A little bit small, but does the job regardless. Anyway, back to the studio. Okay, welcome back. So as we will continue looking at the dial, beautiful Glycine applied logo there at 12 o'clock, a really nice touch. And these fantastic gilded hands, the hands are really nicely done with a box style second hand there. And they're a kind of rose gold, which differs to the gold here. For some reason it works, it's hardly noticeable. It does work, but I'm not sure why they did that, but it is kind of, if you can see guys, it is more kind of rose gold rather than, you know, just yellow gold hit like on the bezel and the crown. I love the dial. It's so flat. It's very easy to read despite the small Lume markings. Sub written there, Glycine, Swiss made at the bottom. All very nicely done with a minute track going around the outside. Pretty much everything you'd expect. The real strength of this watch really is in its case. It has a case that I think it's probably one of the most well-designed dive watch cases I've ever experienced. It's 20 ATM, which of course 200 meters, which is perfectly fine for a diving watch. Now, the real strength here is in its case. Those curved lugs just make it hug any wrist, big, small, and for a big 42mm diameter watch, it wears unbelievably well. In fact, let's do a wrist shot right now. And here we are. Now there's the wrist shot. Now, as you can see on my tiny little wrist, does wear quite big. It really is at the boundaries of my wrist, but it's so thin, it wears amazingly well, and even better on this mesh bracelet. I really like its aesthetic. Has a kind of it's stealthy but a little bit flash at the same time, which yeah, kind of cancels each other out, but you know, you gotta love it. You just gotta love it. So let's talk about the movement. So inside we have Glycine caliber number GL224 Swiss automatic movement, which of course is based on the Swiss made ETA or ETA 2824-2. And this movement, I mean, it's a movement I've had a lot of experience with, but this is probably the best incarnation or modified version I've come across yet. And I really do mean that. You know, we got that 38-hour power reserve, 25 joule movement, running at 28,800 vibrations per hour. That's all standard. What they've really excelled at is they've managed to house it with 200 meters water protection in this tiny, really thin case. And not only that, when you unscrew it, the screw down crown, when you wind it, it really feels buttery smooth. I mean, you still hear a little bit of a grainy feel to it, but it's the most refined feeling ETA I've ever come across. I'm really quite impressed. Very solid feeling. Of course, if we pull it all the way, of course it's hackable. However Glycine are modifying it, they're doing a great job. And not only that, it's probably the most reliable and accurate version of this ETA I've come across. I mean, really outstanding. And you can understand why. Glycine designing this for military use. It has a huge military following. In fact, Salesman's even offer additional discounts for active serving military personnel, because there's just such a strong following in the military for this watch, and it's understandable. They've designed something that is ultra usable. This one, I mean, yeah, this one's a little bit more flashy, of course, because of its colors, but if you look at the Glycine Combat Subs, the regular versions, they are really utilitarian. They are absolutely made for what they were designed to do, and that is a robust, reliable, easy to read, comfortable piece. You just don't even realize you got it on. It wears like a dress watch, which is crazy, but very endearing, you know, and that's why, I mean, yeah, I prefer smaller watches. Had this been 40mm, it would, to me, it would be the perfect diving watch. It's a shame it's so big, but because of this case, it wears so thin. Of course, we got sapphire glass. That's the last thing we should mention. Sapphire glass sits beautifully, operating the bezel. It doesn't overhang. It's looking at it at an angle. It's just so flat. It's gorgeous. It really is gorgeous. I really like the Combat Sub range. The thing that really astounds me is just how different this version was to the version I previously reviewed. And it's exactly the same dimensions, exactly the same features. It's so cool to have so much variation within a Ranger watch. And before I go, just give you a quick size comparison to the Navi timer. Just give you an idea of its scale. It yeah, even makes the Navi timer look a bit small, but fun watch nonetheless. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. Let's take it back to the studio. So, the Glycine Combat Sub. Please let me know down in the comments what you think. I'd really like your opinions. Do you think I should keep it? Do you think I should sell it? I think if I did sell it, I probably would end up regretting it. My only problem is it is on the larger size, but I do love it. I just wish it was 40mm. But anyway, you can't have everything. I did want to say this, however, while I was doing the review, I was kind of thinking about, in kind of summary, the Combat Sub is a great first watch if you are somebody that, you know, doesn't want to spend too much but wants something robust, quality, that is individual. It's by no means a homage of anything. It's completely its own thing, and I really respect Glycine for that. They are hugely underrated, and I'm very excited to review their future watches. Of course, the Airman, I will get my hands on the Airman at some point. It's such an iconic watch, but I think actually this is a really good start for anybody who wants a quality Swiss-made watch with a brand that has heritage to it and isn't, you know, trying to be anything else. It's being itself, and I really respect that. It's made for its purpose with such confidence, and it's really been well thought out. It's an outstanding diving watch, guys, and yeah, I might have to have a few watch duels, and again, now I have this piece in. It's also a playful watch. It's playful, it's fun, it's robust, reliable. I mean, it just ticks so many boxes. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful. It really does help me. And of course, as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Okay guys, ciao.